Do you ever think that dreams are only for the very young? What if I told you that the most beautiful dreams start after 60? But here's a twist. They don't grow by chance. Now, you don't need perfect conditions. You just need small, daily choices like planting seeds in soil. Women over 60 are creating joyful, beautiful lives, starting right where they are with what they have. I've lived this myself. I rebuilt my life after divorcing at 60. No big inheritance or settlement, no fancy shortcuts, just simple, steady changes that I made over time that grew into a life that I love. I planted my own seed and I nurtured it. Today, we'll talk about how to do that. So if you still think that dreams are for the very young, think again. They bloom later, but only if you plant them. You don't need more money and you don't need perfect timing. Women over 60 are planting seeds today for the future that they want, starting with one small step. Here is a powerful reminder from Anne Campbell, an American poet who wrote a poem a day, 6 days a week for 25 years for the Detroit News. She was also a homemaker, a mom, and raised her family in rural Michigan. Here's my favorite quote of hers. "You can plant a dream." Boom, that's it. This quote isn't poetic. It's a call to action. She wasn't famous, but her words spoke to the everyday woman. She was a mother, she was a homemaker, she was the heart of the family. And her poems told us that dreams are not for the very young. They are for the wise, for the patient, for the woman who's ready now. This quote reminds us that dreams don't arrive fully formed, like shooting stars. No. We have to plant them and nurture them. Just like planting a garden, nurturing your dream begins with intention. You plan out your garden, you plan out your dream. Here are a few gentle steps to get you started. The first one is to decide where you want your life to bloom. Where you live shapes how your dreams grow. It's not just the physical place, though. It's the emotional space, the spiritual, the connection that you have with life. That is where your dreams feel possible. If not, what small changes could you start moving that would put you in the right direction? I had to figure out that pretty quick. I had 30 days to leave my house. So I knew I wanted to stay in the same neighborhood, and I knew that I couldn't afford a house, so I moved into a small apartment. But I made those steps and I planned it out. And yes, I have moved 3 times since then, but every move was an upgrade. A smaller apartment, but it was still an upgrade in the quality of my life. And that was intentional. The second piece is to reflect on your work and on your daily life. Does your daily routine reflect what you love? That's something that you really got to pay attention to and think through. Whether it's a hobby, a career, or a passion project, the time you spend every day is precious. So you have to choose it to fill with things that fascinate and nourish you, things that align with the dream, with the goals and the desires that you have for your future. This too takes intention. It takes some planning. It takes some Googling, but love yourself enough to do this. This is an important part of your life. Step 3, make space for joy. Joy in your life. What sparks your passion, and do you carve out time for it? It's easy for us to get into the role of feeling responsible, being dutiful, having to check all the right boxes to balance career, money, family, all sorts of different issues that come when you are in your 60s. Sometimes you don't have a lot of choices, but you can switch things around so that they can align with where you want to go. Small changes. Changing your dream means making room for what brings you anticipation, curiosity, and peace. These aren't small steps. There may be several small steps that would lead to a bigger step. Again, just like planting a garden where you want your rose bushes to be, where you want the green to be, where the shade plants are, you have to plant this as well in your own life. The fourth step is feed and water your dream. Nurture it. So once you've planted your seeds, your job isn't over. That's where it just begins. You need to rearrange your life, even in small ways, to give your dream the sunlight and the water it needs. This doesn't mean going back, unearthing the seed, and looking to see if it's forming roots. That will kill it. that will kill your dream. You plant the seed and you move forward, trusting in your own process. Yes, your own process. You've done your research, you've planned it out, you've mapped it out, but now you have a process and stick to it. For example, if your dream is to write a book, are you making time to write, even 10 minutes a day? If your dream is to travel, are you budgeting and planning for it? Are you researching the best places to go? Depending if you're traveling solo, you're traveling with friends, you're traveling with a budget. This is what I mean. It's doable, but you have to sit down, give yourself the time, create the space for yourself. That's how you give it sunshine. That's how you water your dream. One main requirement here is patience. It's going to take a season of life for your new dream, your new life to blossom. It doesn't happen overnight. Looking back now, I'm 7 years out of my divorce. It was a journey, but I'm looking back at all the steps, and at the time I thought each step was the last step I would make. But circumstances in life came up and I had to pivot, I had to change my dream, and actually, over time, my dream changed. What I wanted changed, so my plans changed. Give yourself the flexibility to do that. Change is a good thing. We're in a time of change now. Look at the life that we're living. Look at the headlines. Don't focus on the bad news. Focus on your life. Focus on what you want to do with your life, with what you have, where you are. This plan works. It doesn't have to be monumental. Small, easy steps. You can do this. When I first understood this whole concept, to be honest, it felt both exciting and terrifying. But it made me reflect on my own life. I had to reflect on the circumstances of my life, what I had to work with, and where I wanted to be. At the time, I was 60, and I thought being 70 was a whole other life. Here I am, 3 years away from being 70, and to be honest with you, again, I'm supercharged because the last 7 years I have been incubating, and ideas have changed, goals have changed, my abilities have changed. But outside of my divorce, I did have a dream when I was 16. I dreamed of going to art school, but in the 70s, my guidance counselor told me, oh, a career in art for a woman, I don't think that's going to work. The only job you might get is in advertising, but they only hire men. Can you believe? Now that dream sat quietly in my heart, waiting. I got married, life happened, then at age 40, with 2 toddlers, I made it happen. I found childcare, I juggled everything. I attended art school full-time for 4 years. Studied fine arts, I completed a graphic designer degree, and eventually used all those skills to run a small home-based business because my kids were little. I had to be home. I created watercolor calendars for local businesses. It wasn't huge, but it helped me buy Christmas gifts, and it allowed me to do special things for my children. And you know what? That dream is still growing because here where I am, all that skill set, I'm still using it. I'm growing that skill set. I'm learning new skills that built on what I got in my diploma. But here I am. That's what I mean by my dream changed. It evolved, and it's still evolving, and it's really exciting because not only do I have the YouTube channel, I'm creating documents and PDFs that I can give you as freebies. That's the graphic design. And I also have a podcast for women who don't have time to watch the video, but they just want to listen to something that is uplifting and that will encourage them to jump the hurdles. Because when you hit 60, a lot of hurdles come to you and you just don't know which way is up. You have to be deliberate. You have to set boundaries. I've talked about that in earlier videos too. As Anne Campbell said, you can plant a dream, even now, even here. This is one of Anne's most famous poems. It's called To My Child. I have to try and say this without getting tearful because it's really poignant. You are the trip I did not take. You are the pearls I did not buy. You are my blue Italian lake. You are my piece of foreign sky. You are the flower beneath the snow. In my dark sky, a bit of blue. Answering disappointment's blow with, I am happy, I have you. Isn't that precious? So this poem reminds us that dreams take on many forms. Some of them inside people that we love, and some of them live inside of us. Planting a dream can be both exhilarating and terrifying. It takes time, it takes patience, and self-belief. That's a big one. But the very act of giving your dream space in your life brings it one step closer to reality. Here's a little nudge for you today. Choose one aspect of your dream, of that wonderful life that you envision. Name it, write it down in a journal. Spend some time visualizing what it would feel like if you lived that dream. What would you see? What would you hear? What would you feel? Because you, my dear friend, are the gardener of your future. And it's never too late to plant something beautiful in your life. Speaking of something beautiful, I created a special freebie just for this. It's called I Am Worthy of My Dreams. You can pick it up for free in the description box below. I would love to hear of a dream that you've explored or you've planted or you're planning. You're the one who's ready to plant if you're watching this. Leave me a comment below. And if this message resonates with you, give it a like, share it with a friend, and consider subscribing, because together we will build a life that honors who we are and who we are still becoming. We're not done yet. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget your free download.